Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In today's video, we're going to be diving down into the world of crypto, specifically taking a look at 3 altcoins that have either been heavily suppressed or are waiting for major developments to take it to the next level. These are 3 altcoins that have performed quite well so far in this bull run, but could perform significantly better as we close this bull run off in Q1 of 2022. Guys, as we get into this video, if you do find it useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with this said, done, and out of the way, let's dive on down to the desktop and get into these 3 altcoins. Okay guys, so obviously the 3 altcoins that we're talking about could be any of the ones in our portfolio. Okay, so we've got quite a hefty portfolio. We always try to limit the amount of coins that we do invest in. Unfortunately, you know, we've been unable to kind of whittle it down. We just keep adding to the bag, so it just keeps growing. But there are 3 altcoins in here in our portfolio that we think are heavily, you know, manipulated or suppressed, or, you know, are waiting on major developments that are really going to take it to the next level. And obviously these current trading patterns for these altcoins have been, you know, maybe not as much as what people were expecting. Maybe they've just been trading sideways and not so good. So let's jump into the first one. The first one we're going to talk about is Cardano, right? This is a pretty obvious one. Obviously, with everything in the kind of running in the background, right? They're kind of primed, ready to go, with the exception that they're just waiting for a few last technical things to get across the line. All those projects that are building on the Cardano ecosystem in the background are basically sat back, waiting for Plutus to kind of launch. Once that kind of happens, I think you're going to start seeing a flurry of dApps run on the ecosystem. These are going to be purpose-built for Cardano. Above and beyond that, there are, of course, the 100 companies that are looking to migrate over from Ethereum to Cardano. Again, all of these are waiting on that Plutus framework to kind of come into the mainnet and get the big tick of approval there to basically launch launch their apps on chain, right? And basically what this will do to the price is it's obviously going to have a huge impact, because it basically increases the transactions, right? And obviously to pay for those transactions, you require ADA. Now we go above and beyond just, you know, 100 companies moving over from Ethereum to Cardano, although that is absolutely massive in itself. And of course you've got, you know, Maladex, Meld, etc. All these other kind of projects building on the Cardano ecosystem also bring in transactional volume. You also have all the governmental contracts over in Ethiopia, right? 5 million teachers and students over there, 8 million from Dish and Boost Mobile over in the US, right? All these millions upon millions of transactions that will be paid for in ADA. And so as a result, you know, ultimately once we get that framework across the line, big tick of approval to push forward and actually get these apps launched, and you're going to start to see, and it'll be slow to start with, but you'll start to see some transactional volume. And then when we go into the new year, I think it's going to go absolutely nuts, okay? Because Ethiopia, they're talking about pretty much onboarding 5 million students and teachers onto the Cardano ecosystem with those digital IDs in the new year, right? So again, that's 5 million there. But ultimately what we're talking about is getting the framework across the line, getting Plutus kind of up and running, getting those dApps launched, and there'll be a slow and steady rise in transactional volume. This is basically going to increase the demand for ADA. And obviously there's a huge portion of ADA staked. I forget the exact portion, but it's significant. Which I know it can obviously be more fluid. You can obviously move out of staking pretty quickly. In fact, you know, it's pretty much instantaneous. So whether you could class it as a squeeze is debatable, but you could argue that there is a squeeze on the supply with people who are delegating and staking. And, you know, basically once that demand comes in, this price is going to rapidly move to the upside, in my opinion. So right now, this is a huge opportunity, at least in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, but when we see Cardano at $2, and yet the charts are indicating the potential push to $11, then actually that's quite an interesting opportunity to be had, right? So the first kind of project that I wanted to kind of talk about was this suppression. I don't want to call it suppression, but basically waiting for a major development to kind of launch on chain that will help push the price of 𝗕𝗓 significantly higher, and what an opportunity it is to buy 𝗕𝗓 at these discounted rates. Obviously not as good as when I was buying it at 8 cents, but again, still fantastic nonetheless to see where we are heading based on the trends of the bull run so far and the current price where it's predicting out to be by the end of the run. So really wanted to kind of just highlight what's going on with Cardano. I think it's a really good project that's going to absolutely surprise people by the end of the bull run. It's probably going to be one of the best performers in my opinion. The second altcoin that I want to talk about is XRP. Obviously this one's heavily manipulated or suppressed based on the Ripple and SEC lawsuit, right? So Jay Clayton back in December of 2020 dropped a lawsuit on his last day in office and basically, calling XRP a security, and it isn't. It doesn't really stick up to the scrutiny of the Howey test, but they are bending the rules and trying to manipulate things, and the SEC have gone far too far, and obviously they've picked a battle with someone who potentially is going to put them in their place, which will be interesting to see. So for those who are following the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit, I think you're very much aware that the SEC haven't exactly been trying very hard. They definitely got off to a rocky start, but most recently they have actually won a couple of things that could have an impact on Ripple. Now, obviously, I personally, and I say this all the time, I don't think it matters whether or not you end up with a win, a lose, or a settlement. All you need is the lawsuit to disappear for the suppression of XRP to go away, right? And obviously with that, you'd see significantly higher gains. Now, I went through this the other day, but basically, XRP has significantly underperformed against the rest of the market, right? And we often refer to Bitcoin and Ethereum being the safer bets in the space. But those two assets in themselves perform incredibly poorly, right, for your portfolio. They don't earn you a huge income. So, we had, I think, Bitcoin at 1,600% gains from the start of the bull run through to the peak that was up in March and April. Ethereum was about 5,100 and XRP significantly lower. So you definitely haven't performed well in comparison to those really poor performing coins in themselves, right? And obviously you can compare all of that to all the other altcoins that have gone absolutely crazy, right? We can see that many other altcoins in the space have performed incredibly well. You've got ADA, for example, at 14,000%, VeChain at 18,000, Harmony One at 18,000, Matix at 42,000, I think, Anchors at 34,000. So for XRP to be, significantly below that of Ethereum, you can tell that the lawsuit has had a very big negative effect on the price. With that being said, it has still participated in the bull run, and currently we're trading 8.8% up today, $1.27, which is great, but obviously the suppression is still there. I do anticipate that once that lawsuit comes to an end, we're going to see some fantastic numbers. Again, we can take a look at the kin case, which was classed as a security at the end of the lawsuit. No caveats were put on place. They basically just need to sell to accredited investors, I believe, and obviously write to the SEC to get approval for the sale of the kin token. The kin token is readily available and you can buy it. And obviously what happened here, and I drew it on the chart, this is when it was classed as security. The day after, or the 6 days that led after, preceding the settlement and the classification of a security token, it went up 788% in 6 days, right? So the markets don't care whether or not it is a security token or whether it is an exchange token, utility token, whatever. The money market cares about is basically getting access to these things and actually allow it to kind of ride. Now, this timing of this is the only other interesting thing, right? Because this timing of this getting the kin token getting classed as a security was pretty much in line with the bull run, right? So again, we started to see a lot of progression to the upside. Okay, so we actually peaked this up in April time. It was 12,000%, a security token that went up 12,000% in the bull run. Okay, so we know that it doesn't really matter whether it's a security token, and ultimately the US will be the only ones in the world that would call it a security token, which I don't think they would even do. I think they're just going after previous sales if they can even justify that. And I think it's a big push. I think Ripple have a very strong case. So we'll see what happens there. But, regardless to the lawsuit, whether you think there is a security or not security, it doesn't matter. US would be the only ones in the world that would class it as a security. And ultimately, what you're looking at is with security token moving up 12,000% during this bull run. So the important note here is that XRP must get some form of closure on this lawsuit, soon. before the end of the bull run. If it doesn't get it before the end of the bull run, then obviously do expect a suppressed price. If we do, however, get some kind of closure to this thing before the end of the bull run, this thing could go absolutely crazy once that suppression is listed. So I did want to kind of cover that off. XRP should be a $15 token, right, in terms of this bull run. That's kind of where it should be heading, but it's heavily suppressed right now. And if it continues the way that it has been doing, we can see this thing topping out at about $6.68. So just keep mental note of that. Now, the other altcoin I think is really important to kind of talk about is crypto.com, the Crow token. So this is basically crypto.com's exchange token, like BNB, for example. And this one's reaching, though this one I'm not going to talk about too much about the kind of the technical analysis or price appreciation, but I do want to kind of highlight there's some interesting things going on with crypto.com. Okay, mainly Cronos mainnet, which is now live as of today. Okay, so really important kind of note on this one. Basically, this is an Ethereum virtual machine chain for DeFi, NFTs, and a metaverse. Okay, so this is a Cosmos chain, if you will. And this is really important. Basically, what is going on here is they're going to be wrapping pretty much everything on Ethereum and then being able to transact cheaply, right? And when I mean everything, right? So this is really important stuff going on for crypto.com. Obviously, you're already aware that crypto.com have been massively pushing ad campaigns, right? We've got Matt Damon being the face of crypto.com. Obviously, crypto.com partnering up and sponsoring people like Formula One team Aston Martin. Obviously, the Ultimate Fighting Champion, or also their kit sponsor, is crypto.com. Obviously, various different soccer teams around the world as well. They're going on a bit of a spending spree in terms of the level of sponsorships that they're giving. Obviously, they're sponsors on the channel as well. But a lot of this stuff is building up to mass adoption. And when it comes to mass adoption, what is one of the key things that you absolutely must have in terms of making it user-friendly is also making sure that it is cost-efficient, right? And that is what Cronos is trying to do here with the mainnet, basically taking everything that's currently been developed for Ethereum and then wrapping it and making it a hell of a lot cheaper. Okay, and obviously tying this into the crypto.com ecosystem. Obviously 10 million plus user base. This is not going to be small by any stretch of the imagination. This is opening up basically the entire Ethereum ecosystem to 10 million people on crypto.com. Okay, so absolutely massive stuff going on here. It's just gone live today. We're seeing a pretty good price appreciation when it comes to Crow. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but obviously I think it's important that we do acknowledge there are ways that you can get hold of crypto.com's exchange token, right there. Their native token. And we talk about this all the time because obviously they are partners on the or sponsors of the show, and we actually have used their debit card quite a bit on the show to earn cashback, right? And that cashback is paid to us in the CRO token. That CRO token is, of course, not fiat. It's obviously crypto related and it's an appreciating asset, meaning that we get 3% cashback when we make our expenditures, our everyday expenditures on our debit card. And we get that 3% back in an appreciating asset. So basically, over time, that particular asset goes up in value. Specifically, when we actually take a look at the last 2 weeks and the price action of Crow, when Chris went out and bought his Range Rover Sport and he used his crypto.com debit card to do so, he earned 3% cash back on that £50,000 car. And as a result of that, he got a very nice portion of Crow, which he still has and is basically earning a nice passive income on it. And of course, it's been appreciating in value. So what was 3% when he bought that car is now significantly higher than 3% in his account. And also, for those who do not know, crypto.com is the world's fastest growing crypto app with over 10 million users. And obviously, I think it's the #1 downloaded app on the Google Play Store. Do check that one out. 10 million users buying and selling 150 cryptocurrencies at the true costs, right? You can obviously spend with their Visa card, okay, and earn up to 8% cash back. And we'll get into that in a moment. But basically, you can buy it true and sell at true cost, which basically is a way of highlighting the fact that some exchanges do actually put their fees into the price of the cryptocurrency itself. So you don't actually pay the correct price for the cryptocurrency itself. With crypto.com, though, you pay the true cost and then the fee is split out separately. But basically, the crypto.com card, this is really what I want to talk about because this is a fantastic way for you to earn more CRO tokens, okay? And you don't actually have to go out and buy CRO, you can earn them, right? So it's a pretty good way of kind of doing it. So basically you top up with crypto, or you can top it up with fiat cash. Now there are several different levels to this. The Midnight Blue is 1% cashback reward, a Ruby Steel is 2%, the Indigo, Royal Indigo and Jade Blue Green, these are the ones that me and Chris have. We get 3%. The Frosted Gold and Icy White 5%, and the Obsidian at 8%, right? You also get other benefits like Spotify, Netflix, Prime. Again, these are 100% cashback on those. So again, this is a fantastic way to continue to earn, a pretty good passive income on your everyday expenses on an appreciating asset. So what I really wanted to kind of talk about was, yes, we're seeing some price appreciation right now with crypto.com, and all for very good reasons. The Kronos mainnet going live is absolutely fantastic, and I think this is definitely one you're going to want to be watching out for. And as a result of all of this, I do anticipate crypto.com's native token performing incredibly well in the latter part of this bull run. Now, guys, I am going to leave this video there. If you have found it useful and informative, then do go ahead and hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With this said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.